Well, next up on the podcast, very excited about this because I'll tell you what, I broadcast a lot of high school events, but this softball team that Owosso has got me tickled. And I've got the head coach on the line to talk with us, fellas, JoEllen Smith. And first of all, Joe, wow, your last two games have been just incredible. And let's start with the quarterfinal win down in Battle Creek, a game that is posted here at 3 Point Podcast. Just what was going through your mind there heading to the seventh inning, 2 outs, you're over there at third base coaching. What was going on in JoEllen Smith's mind?
I mean, what we did in regionals was amazing, and I just thought, these kids, they want it, and we always play till the last out. So I don't know, I really didn't feel nervous. I really didn't. It's strange.
Well,
these guys are gamers.
Yeah, I mean, you had to feel good just listening to the broadcast and then just following kind of your guys' story. I mean, Nevaeh Ginger, she had the big hit, the double in the game 2 games ago, and then she also had the walk-off just a couple days ago. I mean, is she like a robot or something? It seems like in these like clutch situations, she just doesn't blink.
Yeah, she is a Whipple, which makes her a competitor, which I think over in regional somebody said, strike her out and we're finished, and she said, we're not finished, and that's when she hit the ball in regionals, and I said the same thing to her when she came up to bat in the 8th inning, hey, Nevaeh, we're not finished, and there's just something that clicks in there, just like her grandpa.
Yeah. Well, she came through in the clutch for sure. Now, which Whipple is her grandpa?
Bill.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
All right.
Yeah, so she's a Whipple through and through, and they're big ball people, so she has a lot of softball instinct.
Well, I'll throw another quick question out to you because I was super impressed. I mean, it's a nice facility down there in Battle Creek, but the Trojan fan base really traveled well, and I'm assuming it'll be even more over at Michigan State. What do you got to say about the fans there cheering them on?
They're excited. They love it. We've always had a good fan base. They have followed us well, win or lose, and it was amazing. That's all I can say. It was amazing. People I haven't seen in years, some of my old players, alumni, it was amazing.
Coach, I always ask, when we've talked to some coaches from around the mid-Michigan area, the three of us on the podcast, we grew up in Corona, and we always talk about how cool it is to see the community support, kind of what Ted just asked you. How special it is for you and the players to see those fans in the community following you guys around through this tournament run?
Well, the kids can't believe it. They look around and they are just awed by them and pleased that they follow. I mean, every kid had a parent and relatives there. You can't say enough for them. That's what Owosso is about, is the support. And so the kids are very pleased, and I think they don't want to disappoint them.
Well, I'll tell you what, they haven't so far, that's for sure, and you still got a little business to take care of. This is the deepest run in Trojan softball history, and, I mean, you have an illustrious career. You had a great matchup coaching-wise yesterday against your counterpart there from Wayland, but, 800 wins, 38 years. I mean, I pointed it out in the broadcast that the Owosso softball program has only been coached by two people, yourself and Denny Hill. I mean, what's that say, and what did she mean to you as a youngster coming through the system?
Well, she was Owosso women's sports. She was the person that told us that Title IX, that we could play and that we were equal to the guys. She was definitely, we called her Ma. Once you got past the gruff side of her, she just took care of us, and she was us athletes. She was our idol. It's amazing. I tell that story, too, that just two coaches in Owosso softball history, and that in itself is amazing.
Yeah, that is really impressive. You've been doing it for, like Ted just said, 38 years. If you could maybe go back and talk to yourself in those first few seasons that you were a coach all the way back in the mid-'80s, what would you maybe change about your coaching style back then?
Well, the biggest thing I changed in my coaching style when I was young is that I came from playing college ball, and I came from playing very competitive summer ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was used to winning, and I thought, and it took me 7 years, and I tell my coaches now that I'm in the athletic department, I say it takes about 7 years till you figure out these kids, they're not trying to make mistakes. They want to win as bad as you do, but when you come from something, that just always wins, and that it just seems like, I don't know, that's what my biggest lesson was. They want to win as much as I want to win.
Yeah.
So it changed the way I coached when I realized that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. And it's always fun probably to look back and think about how you used to coach, maybe how you would have changed things or what kind of coach you are now. I wanted to ask you about coaching at Owosso, and this isn't a shot because I'm a Corona alum. You know, Owosso, Corona, some of those smaller towns in mid-Michigan, not necessarily like the biggest talent pool as maybe like some of the bigger city schools like in Grand Rapids or Detroit, or, you know, in different areas. And I wanted to ask, you've had a ton of success. What does it take to sustain the amount of success that you've had? Because you're going to have those years where maybe your team's just really young because you had a lot of seniors graduate, or maybe just, you know, talent might be a little down one year. But you've had a ton of success year in and year out. What does it take every year to kind of have that grind and to really be successful every year?
Well, it takes consistency. I mean, you got to tell them what you believe in and stick with it. It takes, I mean, recently the travel ball has been huge. I mean, this team I'm talking about now, I have not had 14 players, and these kids are all players. I mean, I go 14 deep in my roster, and they're strong. But the consistency is, I honestly think the coaching staff, I mean, my assistant coach and my husband, who's the other assistant coach, have been around 38 and 20 years, and it just takes belief and sticking to your beliefs and teaching the kids about life as well as softball.
You know, Joe, that's a very good point. You know, when we caught up before the game, I said hello, and I said, man, what an atmosphere this is. Doesn't this remind you of back in your playing days? And we got to go back just a little bit here while we got you on. Going back to your youth, you know, you grew up by Bennett Field. I mean, you pretty much lived at Bennett Field as a young girl. You learned the game of softball, and everybody knows it starts in the circle, the pitcher, and you learn to be a good pitcher. And I know you mentioned to me Don Von Drosik was one of your main mentors. And just tell us a little bit about being a youth, you know, growing up in the softball community and you know, leading it to college softball, as you mentioned. You met your husband there. Just kind of walk us through the evolution of Joe Smith as a player prior to being a coach.
Well, I believe it started with my brothers being bat boys for one of the teams down there, and I remember them going to Petoskey in the state and being bat boys, and it awed me, and the whole game just awed me. I never took my eyes off the game. I never quit learning. And I remember in high school, we would go down and we'd do pickup games at Bennett Field. I'd be the only girl, but I would be the pitcher, and I was very successful, and the guys were so respectful and so appreciative, and that's really what got me going. And then I got a hold of Denny Hill at the high school, and we had success at the high school, and it was just a great experience. There was nothing like Bennett Field in the summer. I think at one point there were 64 fast pitch teams down there, Class A to Double D, and it was just it was amazing. I mean, anybody that was around back then, you say Bennett Field, and they'll know that there's some really, really good memories and good times. And watching Brad Van Pelt down there and all you guys play, it was just amazing. From there, after high school, I went to Grand Valley and played for 4 years, and then we got on a team. I walked onto an amazing team that we played 20 years of women's fast pitch softball, won a national championship. But right after I had my daughter in '83, she was 2 years old, is when I started coaching Owosso High School. So just the love of the game brought me to the coaching part of it.
So at this point, you've coached for 38 years. I was looking back at some past articles that have been written about you. You achieved your 600th win in 2012, your 800th in 2021. So do you think you have 9 more years in you to maybe reach 1,000?
That was going to take me 9 more years?
That's on average. That's average.
That's on average?
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, I love coaching. I'm in good health. As long as I love it and as long as I can do it, I don't see me not doing it in the near future.
Oh, that's.
So I have a granddaughter that's playing some travel ball right now that's 9 years old, and how cool would that be if I was a coach when she came up there?
Oh, we're all for that. You know, before we let you go here, Joe, we do appreciate the time. Let's give some love individually to your team here. Tell us a little bit about your lineup and maybe just a quick little thumbnail sketch of them, starting with your leadoff hitter, Lexi Hemker.
Yeah, my leadoff hitter, little freshman, Lexi Hemker. I tell you what, COVID had a lot to do with my lineup. I mean, Lexi at the beginning of the year was just a good player, but I thought she'd end up on my JV team, and she has just grown and become a huge varsity player. So as COVID went through our team, we got to look at some new players, and She started, I think she was down in the lineup, and she just has great at-bats, so she moved up to the top of the lineup. My second hitter, Maddie Rainey, is my senior, and she actually was in probably the sixth spot, and then we're struggling at the second spot, and probably the last 10 games she's been there, and wow, that was a huge move, a great move. My third spot, of course, is my pitcher, Macy, and she's batting almost 600. Ren Tuttle comes to us from a baseball background. She played baseball in high school as a freshman, so she's really only played softball 2 years out of her life, and she's an athlete. If she would have played softball her whole life, she really probably could play college ball, and she probably still could. My fifth hitter, Jamie Mayer, my shortstop, is just a clown and a hell of a player and a true shortstop that I haven't had in a while, and she brings a lot to the team, more than just her athletic ability. She brings some calmness, some funniness, some, just a good kid. Seventh can go either. My sixth hitter can be Kendall Anderson, who's my catcher. Kendall, I tell you what, she handles Macy, and nobody understands what that means, but that's huge. And she has really come around with her bat. Kendall Anderson plays right field for me, and she switches in there and out, and she's usually my seventh hitter. And Kendall's a junior who is very, very strong. She had an injury in the middle of the season and is coming back strong. Then I have Nevaeh, my little senior outfielder who's played with me for 4 years.
Clutch.
Used to be my second hitter, but she seems to excel down in the lineup a little bit. And then my little freshman left fielder, Reese Thayer, who has been a great surprise. She's actually been my COVID kid who's taken over all the positions. She's been in everything but pitch for me this year when people are out with the COVID. Then I have Sydney Summers, my third baseman, who goes, unnoticed sometimes, but she's only a sophomore, and she will be my catcher next year. So really some excitement and some young blood in my bench. Like I said, my bench is strong. I got a couple injured kids that are freshman, sophomore, and I can't wait to get them back in the lineup next year. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, and Emily Pumford came off the bench as you're talking about your bench players, had a big hit for you.
Yeah, I mean, Emily was one of those kids that I know what she can do, and she's one of those kids that just somehow didn't get in the line. I mean, she did during the year, but since the postseason, she hasn't really been in the lineup. But I know that if I put her up there to bat, that she's going to have a great at bat. She has every time I've done it, and she will definitely be huge in my lineup next year.
Well, we'll leave it here as far as questions for you, Joe. We got to have one more comment or two from you on your pitcher, Macy Ireland. I mean, now 34-3. She's been the pitcher of record every game. One question I got to start off was, how did she not pitch that one inning that she didn't pitch all season long, number one? And then tell us a little bit more about how special she is as a junior. And, she had a little bit of a shaky start yesterday, but bounced back and got back into the groove with 16 Ks.
Yeah, well, the one inning she didn't pitch is that the JV pitcher is still with me, and she's now a varsity player, and we're heading a game by quite a few runs, and I thought that Mara needed my JV pitcher. A good experience for her to get out on the mound for an inning and pitch at the varsity level, so that's the one inning she lost.
All right. She lost her perfect attendance.
Yeah.
Yep. She got taken out of the game for the first time. So, she was just phenomenal as a freshman. We lost that sophomore year, which is huge in my mind as a coach. That's one of the biggest years. So actually, I'm working with the mental part of her right now as a junior, which I should have done that as a sophomore. But she has such great speed and such great stuff, and she has so much more potential than what you've seen. I'm working a little bit on her mental stuff and a little bit on the finesse, but as far as the pitching goes, she's the real thing. And
she's committed to Kent State, right?
She's verbally committed, correct.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there'll be a few other schools knocking on the door, so when it's time to sign her, they better do it right away.
Yes, I believe that's true. The Kent State coach was there at regionals, and he seems like a really nice, humble guy. So, it could be a great place for her.
Good deal. Well, listen, we want to wish you the best of luck. You got the Thursday morning game against Gaylord, only one loss on the season. Should be another heck of a great battle over there at MSU. We just want to wish you the best of luck, Joe, and go get them. And it'll be another 3-Point Podcast special, by the way.
I appreciate that. All right, thanks, guys. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
JJ's Excavating and Tree Service can help you with many homeowner items, including skid steer work, footings, gravel work, and property maintenance. JJ's Excavating and Tree Service, they're also experts in tree removals, including stump grinding. fully insured, and no job too big or too small. Call Kyle Jones of JJ's Excavating and Tree Service at 989-277-9059 to set up a free estimate and tell him 3 Point Podcast sent you. Nelson House Funeral Home's top goal is to serve the families in our community. The Nelson House staff are proud to serve our local community with reliability, integrity, and compassion. Unique service representing unique lives, ensuring your loved ones receive the honor and celebration they deserve. Founded in 1880 and continuing the tradition today with chapels in Owosso, Chesaning, and New Lothrop. For more details, find them at nelson-house.com or call 989-723-5234. The Owosso Speedway has been building families and communities through the promotion of short track racing since 1939. Saturdays are race days at the Big O, with gates opening at 4, qualifying beginning at 5, and the waving of the green flag and racing at 7. The Owosso Speedway and its super fast high bank 3/8 of a mile oval layout has thrills and action galore. Easy to get to on M21 between Owosso and Ovid. Stay up to date on upcoming features by following Owosso Speedway on Facebook at Owosso Speedway MI. It's family fun, and you'll always be welcomed by the smiling faces at Owosso Speedway. The CoronaConnection.com staff knows it's great to be gold. Keep up to date on Cavalier Nation at CoronaConnection.com. All Corona, all the time. The Hankard Sportswear team pride themselves by giving a good product at a great value. The area's go-to clothing and more printing business with many loyal customers. They do it by providing a 100% guarantee to satisfy your expectations. Hankard Sportswear always have Owosso, Corona, and St. Paul school spirit items in stock. Also, special items for family, sporting, business, and charity events. Call them at 989-725-2979. Stop on into the store on Exchange Street in downtown Owosso and follow them on Facebook at hankard.sportswear. Advanced Elevator Company are experts in the elevator business. They have the very best trained professional field technicians in project management for installations, troubleshooting, and repair of elevators in the entire Midwest. Centrally located world headquarters in the heart of Owosso, Michigan. The Janka family, longtime huge supporters of the Corona Public Schools. Advanced Elevator Company, area business leaders, and a longtime member of the Shiawassee Regional Chamber of Commerce.
Great news to report. Sheridan Realty and Auction Company has built a new 7,500 square foot warehouse in Owosso. Now we are able to take all of your items and put it underneath one roof. Whether you are able to bring us a vehicle, an ATV, furniture, it goes inside. Go to SheridanAuctionService.com to see more. More importantly, stop down and see us at 1007 South Washington Street. You'll do better with Sheridan. Good afternoon. Troy Crow here with Sheridan Realty and Auction Company. Just want to say good luck this afternoon to the Owosso Trojans softball team. Go Trojans.
Success Group Mortgage and Servicing is a mortgage and land contract services company that is focused on your success. The home financing team has over 25 years experience in origination of all types of loans. Led by Jim Woodworth, Success Group Mortgage provides one-on-one service with a personal touch. You're not lost in the crowd like working with a mega-sized bank. Every transaction is given complete attention from the very beginning to the very end. Located in downtown Owosso, call today for an appointment at 989-720-4380 or find more info on the web at successgroupmortgage.com.
Rivals Tap House and Grill is the area's go-to spot for the best in food and drink. Meet up with your friends and catch your favorite sporting events on over 20 high-def flat-screen TVs
and our 120-inch projection screen.
Rivals can handle your large or small parties and is an awesome spot to put on your fundraising events. Weekly food and drink specials including gourmet burgers, wings, pizza, homemade soup, and salads. Rivals also stocks a large selection of craft and domestic brews. Rivals Tap House and Grill, the official gathering spot of 3 Point Podcast, located on the corner of Shiawassee and M21 in Corona.